Walking among her supporters in a relaxed and confident style, Dole said as president she'd offer experience and commitment and would like to cut taxes and step up the war on drugs. And while steering clear of divisive social issues, Dole said values are key.
It is respect for our fellow man, isn't it? Civility, personal responsibility, the fact that the individual can make a difference. Every individual can. And certainly honesty and integrity. This is what I think people yearn for today.
Dole offered few specifics on her program and, unlike the other candidates, is not yet answering questions from reporters. I'm Bob Fuss, live in Des Moines, Iowa. Now for more...
Back to the big show. To hour number 2 of the Dori Monson Show. Glad you can join us this afternoon. Talking about Y2K. Thank you very much, John. Thank you. The news director, John King, just brought me a cookie. Isn't that nice of him? Huh? Wasn't it? Yes. I think so, too. So we're talking about Y2K. We're finding out how prepared you are, how concerned you are. We had one caller last hour who's very concerned. Most people don't give a rip about it. We'll find out where you stand. I also promised that I would give some info on our Vegas trip that's coming up because we still do have some space available. But it's going fast. It's 3 nights at the Bellagio, the spectacular, expensive Bellagio. And this package ain't that expensive. That's what makes it so nice. Because if we're going to put our name on it, you know it's going to represent value. Now, in this case, it's true. 3 nights at the Bellagio, tickets to the last 2 Mariners spring training games at Cashman Field in Las Vegas against the Brewers and the Cubs. All your ground transportation, airfare, all of that. If you want info, this is who you have to call. Call Northwest Travel Service. Here's their phone number. It's toll-free, anywhere you can hear my voice if you want to get some information. 1-800-456-6269. One more time. 1-800-456-6269. And that's for April 1st through the 4th, Sean? 5th? 4th? Whatever it is. 3 nights. I guess I could do the math and figure it out for myself. But it's April 1st, leave on a Thursday, come back on Sunday. All right, just have one line open. It's in Seattle at 421 KIRO. If you're just joining us, we were talking last hour about Y2K. We had the director of the state Y2K office on the big show. We were reading from a poll that says 1/4 of Americans, or actually 1 out of 5 Americans, expects major problems in 2000. I read the Senate report that came out a few days ago. And here's some of the excerpts again from that Senate report. Many organizations critical to Americans' safety and well-being are still not fully engaged in finding a solution. For example, over 90% of doctors' offices and 50% of small and medium-sized businesses have yet to address the problem. Most affected industries and organizations started Y2K remediation too late. Among utilities, a prolonged nationwide blackout is not likely to occur. However, local and regional outages remain a distinct possibility. In the transportation sector, disruption of flights and global trade between some areas and countries may occur. On average, the nation's 670 domestic airports started Y2K compliance too late. I'm just flipping through the Senate report here. Many small and medium-sized businesses are extremely unprepared for Y2K disruptions. One survey shows that more than 40% of 14 million small businesses do not plan to take any action. And this Senate report's a bit alarming. And like I said, then you have these real extremists, like this guy, Gary North, who's probably the leading Y2K extremist. And he has a website dedicated to the issue. And this is what he says on the homepage of his website. We've got a problem. It may be the biggest problem that the modern world has ever faced. I think it is. At 12 midnight on January 1st, 2000, a Saturday morning, most of the world's mainframe computers will either shut down or begin spewing out bad data. Most of the world's desktop computers will also start spewing out bad data. Tens of millions, possibly hundreds of millions of pre-programmed computer chips will begin to shut down the systems they automatically control. This will create a nightmare for every area of life in every region of the industrialized world. It's called the Y2K problem. It doesn't matter how we or what we call it, this bomb isn't going away. Think of what happens if the following areas go down and stay down for months or even years. Banks, railroads, public utilities, telephone lines, military communications, financial markets. What about Social Security and Medicare? If Social Security and Medicare go down, it will affect millions of people, yet both programs are at risk. Is this possible? It's far more than merely possible. And then he goes on to cite some authors who have written on the subject, and he says, months before January 1st, 2000, the world's stock markets will have crashed. Who's going to leave his money in his bank if he thinks his bank's computer is not reliable? A worldwide run on the banks will create havoc in the investment markets. People who have placed their retirement hopes in stocks and mutual funds will see their dreams vanish. How reliable will stocks and mutual funds be if the banking system is closed down? How will you even get paid? How will your employer get paid? How will governments get paid? And on it goes. So that's the extreme of people who are fearing Y2K. I'm going to have a couple days worth of food. That's about it. Want to know where you stand on all of this? And we'll get right back. Phones are full right now. I've got a Seattle line available at 421 KIRO. Actually, no. Lines are full. But grab a line when you can at 421 KIRO or toll-free 1-800-KIRO-710. Scott in Redmond. Hello, Scott. You're on 710 KIRO.
Hi, Dori. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Great. Welcome.
Love your show most of the time, except when you're wrong, but we won't get into that right now.
No. This is a love fest here today.
The Y2K problem really concerns me because I think the general public doesn't understand the real issues. It's a software and a hardware problem to begin with.
Right.
Computers were never engineered to deal with a 4-digit year.
Right.
So this is the first time.
Well, it's not that they weren't engineered to, but to save space, right?
Right.
To save space, They just coded the last 2 years.
Exactly. So they weren't, software programmers who were having to code software for those machines were using the 2-digit year the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that we're doing something here that we've never had to do with computers. We've never had to use a 4-digit date.
Right.
So this is a whole brand new thing. Now, it's not like changing a light bulb, is my point. We have to actually test these things. And being a software tester myself, I know that it's mathematically impossible to test everything.
No, what I was doing some research on this morning, and they said if there are some major corporations and their computers may have 300 million lines of code,
right,
and they know that they physically cannot fix all of it, so they just start prioritizing what's most important, and they'll fix 200 million lines of code, and yet, according to some of the doomsayers, the part that they do not have time to fix is going to infect everything else and is going to create this domino effect.
Mm. Yeah, that's another concern of mine. Yeah, because it's not only our certain government agencies; it's the dependencies between those agencies.
Right.
The dependencies, with our global economy, our dependence and communications with other financial institutions. So what we're saying here is, do we trust not only what we've done in say like in Washington state government, but do we trust what Asia has done.
Now, explain this to me. Now, you're a software tester?
Yes.
Scott? Okay. If you can explain this in real layman's terms, because I am a computer bonehead, why can't we just, if it's engineered one way now, why can't we just load in an updated version of the software that accounts for a 4-digit year, the way that one might update their Windows 95 to Windows 98?
Right.
Why is it so much more difficult to fix?
It's a legacy thing. There's just so much of it out there that we've been relying on for so long. I mean, when people talk about the internet today, they think of it as relatively new, within the last 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
But in actuality, the internet's been around since the 60s.
Right.
So all of those computers that were running the internet way back when, the government and the military and the universities and things like that, they've been using this code for years. So we have, and the newer machines were made the same way. And it wasn't until the last couple of years that people finally realized, hey, when the year 2000 comes around, we're really going to have a problem here.
But is it that they can't just simply load in an updated version, or is it the sheer number of machines that are having this potential problem that is the challenge? Correct.
It's the latter. It's the fact that there is so many of them out there already. And see, the other thing is, let's say for instance that the Washington State advisor to Gary Locke was correct.
Yeah.
That let's say that Washington State is Y2K compliant. We don't have any problems. We still have to worry about our communication with other entities and their communication with us. I mean, us passing them information and them, let's say that their stuff doesn't understand 4-digit years.
Then you got a problem.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and the same thing is the other way. What happens if they pass us bad information? So here what we've turned into is we've got to not only make sure that we can our systems can understand the 4-digit date. We've got to make sure that when we communicate with another system, another entity, banking or government or whatever, we have to make sure that transaction goes through as it was meant to.
That they're speaking the same language.
Right.
Okay. Scott, I got to run here. I got to turn you loose with that, but I appreciate all the insight you bring to it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot. It opens up a toll-free line, 1-800-KIRO-710. Last hour, I got a call from a guy who said up in Bellingham, they bought a new fire engine. They set the date for December 31st. They went in the next day, and it would not start. I said, I find that story hard to believe. We have the president of the County Association of Fire Chiefs up there in Whatcom County who can either confirm or refute that story. We'll talk to him up next and continue with your phone calls here on 710 KIRO.
Well, buying our
710 KIRO, the Dori Monson Show. We'll get right back to your phone calls in a moment. One thing that I'm proud of on this show, and I think we do this as well or better than any talk show in the country. When a caller calls up and spits out some story, we don't just say, oh my goodness, you're kidding me. We actually try to confirm or refute their story. We had a caller last hour, and you hear this all the time in talk radio, and it drives me crazy, where a caller will say the most outlandish thing, and the host will just say, oh my God, that's amazing. A caller last hour said that he knows a guy who works for a fire department up near Bellingham, and they bought these new fire engines, and to test them out, they set the computers for December 31st, and they went in the next day, and the fire engine wouldn't start. And instead of saying, oh my God, we better not let our houses burn down on January 1st. I said, you know what? I don't believe it. So we put them on hold. Sean asked to get the name of the fire department. He just said it's one near Bellingham. Wouldn't tell us. So to check all of this out, We have on Dave England, who's the president of the Whatcom County Association of Fire Chiefs. Dave, thanks for coming on today.
You're welcome.
You heard what the caller alleged. Any truth to that story?
Today was the first time I've heard that story. I can really only speak for my fire district, which is up in Birch Bay, up near Blaine. We've already checked all of our apparatus, particularly with the manufacturer, and received letters of confirmation that we are Y2K compliant. Within the County Fire Chiefs Association also, we have been meeting during our regular monthly meetings and discussing what we all need to do to prepare for that great night on December 31st, and are taking a number of steps. We've established a planning committee, and we're in the process of writing policies and taking the necessary actions to be able to assure to our constituents that we're ready to go.
Now, but if you're meeting every month on this subject, if that had happened, you most likely would have heard about it, wouldn't you?
Well, we would have. All I can guess is if indeed that happened, it must have happened very recently.
It sounds like urban legend to me.
Well, we're just not sure.
Now, is that within the realm of possibility, as far as you know?
I think it is, only from the standpoint, some of the newer engines, pumpers, have computer cards within parts of the engine, particularly in the transmission, that may or may not be Y2K compliant. And it's up to each of the fire departments in district to contact the manufacturers and to confirm that those boards are indeed compliant.
Well, if that's so, why couldn't you just set the date to January 1st, 1990, and know that they're going to work for the next 10 years? I mean, if you're able to program a date, today's date, into those computer chips on the fire trucks, couldn't you just back the date up several years, or whatever the expected life of the engine is, and go from there?
Well, I'm not sure that I have the skill to do that. These boards and chips are buried within the depths of the fire engines, and it takes a technician to go in and test something like that.
Yeah.
It's not ordinarily something that a fire district or department would do.
Okay, but bottom line, you think fire districts are going to be adequately prepared? The regional fire districts will be prepared to handle whatever may come? Oh,
absolutely. We're taking very detailed, careful actions to make sure that we're prepared, and that includes putting in additional staffing on that evening and making sure that we have lots of folks around.
Good deal. All right, Chief, thank you very much.
You bet.
All right, Dave England, Chief Dave England. He's the president of the Whatcom County Association of Fire Chiefs. Tamara is in Kent. Hello, Tamara. You're on 710 KIRO.
Hi, Dory.
Hello, Tamara.
First time I've called.
Welcome to the show.
And the reason I'm calling is I really don't think people should get too alarmed, because I'm sure that's what most of the facilities and the government don't want you to do.
Sure.
But it is a fact, because I have two relatives who work within pretty important districts, and one works in defense and the other works with Puget Power.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been discussing this in our family now for over 2 years. And I think where the major problems lies is, like the gentleman said before, is there's such an interneting. And in the Defense Department, you have third world countries that are not prepared.
Right.
And that's where they really are worried. Because in Russia, they've sent teams over there to try to prepare some of their warheads that have some of these glitches in them, because they are so old. And in other third world countries, they have been working on this now for over 4 years.
And just in the last week, I saw some news that once again the United States has dispatched teams over to try to make sure that there is not an accidental launching of Russian missiles on December 31st.
And that's what they're worried about, is the accidental part of it. And another thing is, as far as power goes, I think that this state alone is pretty well fixed for its power, from what my relative says, but it's on down. We service not just Washington, we service Utah, Idaho, Colorado, Montana, It's all those other little glitches in between that will and could mess up the power system.
So you are moderately concerned about
Moderately
Y2K.
concerned.
Okay, fair enough. Tamara, thank you for the call. Opens up a toll-free line, 1-800-KIRO 710.
Don't miss a minute of the 1999 Seattle Mariners preseason game.
Fastball swung on it, over the left.
Catch the preseason games on 710 KIRO every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then, Monday through Thursday, the Mariners play on 770 KNWX. And 770 KNWX for the games Monday through Thursday. 710 KIRO.
Let's go to John in Tacoma. Hello, John. You're on 710 KIRO.
Yes, I work for one of the larger water and sewer utilities in the Puget Sound area.
Okay.
And I'd like to try to debunk some of this Y2K hysteria that's going on out there.
Okay, we bunked it, so now you got to debunk it.
Well, what I just want to say at first is that we want all the people to be ready for the big one. I think that's really what they should be primarily concerned about.
The big earthquake.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, where you should be self-sufficient for 5 to 7 days with water and food and
Sure.
clothing and everything like that. And I think with that, you probably could get over, something that may happen on January 1 of 2000.
And may something happen with power?
As far as our utility is concerned, that's probably what we're more concerned about is some kind of a disruption of the main commercial power supply. And, with the larger municipal water systems, we have the big water tanks and stuff to store water. And one of the reasons to store water is for an interruption in your supply.
Mm-hmm.
And usually at that time of year, we're probably talking about using the state's criteria, probably 5 to 7 days worth of normal supply anyway.
But if it's something that is going to be fixed in 5 to... If it happens, it'll be fixed in 5 to 7 days. Why can't it be fixed before January 1st and not have any disruption?
Well, that's something that has to be asked of the power utilities. But here in the water supply, we've got trailer-mounted emergency generators so we can keep some of our pumps running.
No,
and also rely on the water in the tanks.
Those must be pretty impressive generators if they can pump that much.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They have some very big, high capacity.
Do you agree with the Senate report that came out a few days ago that said, as far as electricity goes, local and regional outages remain a distinct possibility?
Yes, and we're gearing up for that. We plan to have people available unfortunately, on New Year's night to be able to respond to something like that.
But how will they respond if it's a computer glitch?
Well, like I say, it's to move around the emergency generators and such in case we do lose our water supply system.
Okay. Interesting. Well, it's nice to know that you guys are thinking about it so much and that you do seem prepared for it.
Well, yes, and actually we're meeting with the retirement community next week to talk about that. And I think, like you say, it's one of those hysteria things that's getting out there that we want to try to keep it more down to earth.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, John, thank you. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Bobby on the car phone. Hello, Bobby. You're on 710 KIRO.
Hi, Dori. I'm so worried about it. I'm going to be flying on an airplane on January 1st back from Honolulu.
Oh, you better be wearing a parachute, Bobby.
No, I look at it this way. If everybody worried about every could in life, you would not walk out your front door every day.
And the nice part about this is if the airlines go down, you'll be stuck in Hawaii.
In Honolulu. What can I say?
I mean, that ain't too bad. I like that strategy.
And I also look at it, you mean to tell me that people in the past 10 years building equipment didn't think we were ever going to make it to the year 2000?
Well, it sounds like we took an ostrich approach until just the last year or so when people really started dealing with the problem. And, like the Senate report says, a lot of companies still have not dealt with it. And that is a bit of a concern. It's not like I'm panicking over it, but this Senate report, if you sit and read it, you can't be too excited about the state of preparedness.
So they thought the world was going to come to an end before the year 2000.
Apparently so.
2000, all the satellites are going to fall out of the sky on top of us,
Let me find what they said about airplanes here, just to make you feel better. Planes will, this is straight from the Senate Special Committee report. Planes will not fall out of the sky, but disruption of flights and global trade between some areas and countries may occur. So you won't fall out of the sky, at least.
Hey, sounds like a good time for us to trade our ticket in and take a later flight, right?
Yeah, at least find out how Qantas is doing in Australia, because they'll give you a 20-hour head start.
There we go.
If their planes start falling from the sky, don't get on the plane yourself, okay?
I'll just say this is one. I'm going to talk my husband into trading our ticket in that time, and we'll let somebody else take our seat.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Bobby.
You're welcome.
See ya. Yeah, oh man, I could use being stuck in Hawaii. I should have taken that vacation over Christmas break next year. That's where I should be stuck. All right, just one line open. And you know what else is going to happen? Let's see, if January 1st is a Saturday, I'll be off the 1st and 2nd, so I'll be back in here January 3rd. And if all the phones are down, I'm going to have to come in and do a 3-hour monologue. We might have to line up some guests for January 3rd. We never have guests on the big show because we just like talking to you. But, I'll lose my voice if I have to talk for 3 hours. So let's make sure the phones are working. That's all I care. Forget about the other utilities. Let's just make sure the phones are working by January 3rd. It's 1:42. Get right back to your calls here on 710 KIRO.
Hello? Is anybody in there? Hello?
KIRO's Mystery Playhouse has moved from 710 KIRO to 770 KNWX. It has a new name.
PEMCO's Imagination Theater with Jim French.
But the same time, 9 to 10 p.m., Saturdays and Sundays. So remember to tune in for your favorite dramas, thrills, and mysteries on PEMCO's Imagination Theater with Jim French. Saturdays and Sundays at 9, now on 770 KNWX.
Well, while most people are already looking ahead to the year 2000, it's still 1998 at State Roofing, at least when it comes to prices. So call State Roofing now and take advantage of last year's prices while beating the home show rush. State Roofing offers the revolutionary metal tile roofing system in a wide variety of colors. You can even get the look of Cedar Shake with State Roofing's metal tiles, all with a lifetime no-leak guarantee. So call State Roofing. 1-800-810-7305. State Roofing.
Titus Will Ford Toyota of Tacoma and Titus Will Chevrolet Oldsmobile Cadillac of Olympia offer you the best of both worlds. The right price and the best customer service. Titus Will knows getting you the right price is just one requirement of great customer service. And now with Ford, Toyota, Chevrolet, Oldsmobile, and Cadillac, Titus Will has a new car or truck for every budget. Titus Will also has 3 separate pre-owned car and truck lots with over 400 quality used vehicles to choose from. And every Titus Will pre-owned car and truck is fully inspected and backed by Titus Will's 60-year tradition of superior customer service. You can always count on great selection and low prices, but the best reason to shop at Titus Will is probably the simplest, the tremendous service they provide, both before and after the sale. Get the right price and the right attitude at the same dealership. Titus Will Ford Toyota of Tacoma and Titus Will Chevrolet Oldsmobile Cadillac of Olympia.
Save now at Riches for the Home with incredible home show deals this week only. Save on stoves and fireplace inserts from Avalon, Avanti, and Lo-Fi. Get incredible prices on Caldera Spas. Caldera Spas, over 100 spas in stock. Save up to 40% on the Northwest's largest selection of quality patio sets from Homecrest, Woodard, Tropitone, and more. Plus, save up to 60% on Omnia leather furniture. Incredible home show prices this week only at Riches in Linwood, Tukwila, and Bellevue. Riches for the home.
And we're back at the GTE Internet Basketball Finals.
60 seconds on the clock.
His eye is on the target. It's Internet service he's after.
Well, that's right, Al. He wants nothing but net.
Boy, look at him move over that playpen. Oh, he hurdles the couch. Uh-oh, here comes the missus with the party tray.
Look at that cheese nut ball fly.
Oh, he's almost there.
He sees the phone.
He picks it up. It's that GTE dial tone. Yeah, GTE's Internet service comes from the same folks.
How reliable is that?
Even supports 56K modems.
He's dialing. He's going for it.
What's that number, Bob?
1-888-GTE Service.
Oh, he scored!
GTE Internet Service.
Email plus news, sports, even shopping.
Right off their homepage.
But the real prize is an NCAA Final Four 30-minute calling card. They threw it in for free.
Sort of a free throw out?
Yes, sirree, Bob.
Get your NCAA Final Four 30-minute calling card free when you sign up for GTE Internet Service starting at $19.95 a month. Call 1-888-GTE-SURF. That's S-U-R-F. Or visit www.gte.net. GTE is a corporate sponsor of the NCAA. Setup fee and some restrictions may apply while supplies last.
Now at Hair Masters, buy any 3 hair care products and get 20% off. Call or walk in to any Hair Masters salon today.
Hair Masters, Masters of style for your hair.
145, News Radio 710 KIRO, the Dori Monson Show. Just one line's available. It's in Seattle at 421 KIRO. If you want in, tell us how prepared you are for the new millennium. And by the way, I have to warn people one more time. Do not send me emails telling me that the millennium doesn't begin until January 1st, 2001. Okay? Because I've already gotten 14 billion emails telling me that. We know that that's when it really begins. We don't care. Nobody cares. Take your technical interpretation of that and keep it to yourself because I don't want your emails on the subject. Thank you very much. We're not going to fight the tide of popular culture here. Everyone thinks it starts 2000. We're playing along with them. Anton in Woodinville, you're on 710 KIRO. Hello, Anton.
Hi, Dory.
Hi.
Hey, me and the guys I work with,
Yeah.
none of us are really doing anything to prepare because we think nothing's going to happen.
Wow.
Except we are really worried about one thing.
And that is?
Well, these guys that are all getting prepared, that got the generators and the water and the food and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When the Y2K thing happens and nothing happens, some of these guys are going to be really, really bummed. They're going to be way depressed.
That's true.
But we have a solution.
Okay.
We kicked it around at the office, and what we think we want to do is we want to provide Y2K insurance.
Uh-huh.
And the way it works is these crazies can sign up with us, and we'll make sure that at the stroke of midnight, with our wrenches and our bolt cutters and our laptop computers, that their bank accounts are screwed up, and we shut off their gas and their power and their water, and we won't tell them if it's us or the Y2K, and that way they'll be happy. And
but you will dispatch a cadre of goons to ensure that their lives are disrupted, so all of the little tools and gadgets that they bought will be useful.
Oh, so they'll be happy because these guys, I mean, they've got all these weapons. If this doesn't happen, these guys are going to be, who knows what they'll do.
I think you have a great service that you're offering, Anton. I think you could be onto the business boon of the new millennium. I'm envious that I didn't think of it myself. Can I be one of your goons?
Sure, yeah. It'll be at New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
We'll all go out and we'll do this. It'll be kind of a group thing. It'll be fun. It'll be
can I wear one of those ski masks when I'm crawling around these people's houses?
Yeah, and Dory,
cutting up their wires?
This is going to be just like junior high school when you TP'd your friends' houses and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a high-tech TP job.
One-night deal, only works for one night.
Right.
Should be fun.
I love it. Thank you, Anton.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Jeez, finally I have some plans for New Year's Eve. It's about time. Opens up Seattle line 421 KIRO. One other theory that I have. If everyone's pulling out this cash, everyone's going to pull out $500 or $1,000. I think this is going to be a boon to the economy. Because do you think that after January 1st, when everything's okay, do you think those people are going to put that money back into their accounts? Please. They're going to spend it. When people have cash, it burns a hole in their pocket. And they don't want to put it back in the bank. It's already out of the bank. They're going to go and spend it. It's going to provide an economic engine in this land of ours. Let's go to Jay in Renton. Hello, Jay. You're on 710 KIRO.
Yeah, Dory.
Hello, Jay.
First-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, you know, this whole thing doesn't scare me, and I believe that the big factions in this country will make sure that the systems are running. But you know what really ticks me off?
What's that?
Why hasn't this billionaire computer industry been held directly responsible for this fix? The government forces consumer product recalls on businesses all the time for safety and fraud and et cetera. And why is it up to us as individuals to pay and fix for this problem?
Well, and I wonder what sort of liability these computer makers face if there is some widespread disruption that can be traced to their poorly written code.
You know, I spent $7,000 on a system for my business a year and a half ago, and in a year and a half, that the system is practically old technology. You know, the computer industry forces these upgrades on us all the time. They're getting rich off of it, and now when this big problem comes along, we're left holding the bag.
Well, it's a great question that you raise. What kind of liability exposure do these computer makers have if they contribute to widespread disruption or individual disruption, for that matter? I'd love to get an answer. I'll look into that.
Well, and then another thing is, do you ever wonder if possibly this whole scenario wasn't created on purpose? They knew about the digit problem.
To force?
They said them to force equipment upgrades and all this. You realize how many people are getting rich off of running around fixing computer systems?
Wouldn't be the first time that an industry went with planned obsolescence to ensure turnover of product and their future prosperity. I don't know that this is anything more than just boneheaded code, but the conspiracy theory, I'm sure, is out there. Jay, thanks for calling. I appreciate it. Opens up a toll-free line, 1-800-KIRO-710. I will say, the place where I bought my computer, I bought it about 2 years ago, well past any warranty. And when I called up, said, does it have this Y2K problem? They said, yeah, bring it in. We'll fix it for you, no charge. And just great service. And that's the way it should be. It should not be up to us to pay to fix their problems. 152. Get right back to your calls on 710 KIRO.
In a world of cyber-spaced-out plastic inflatable sofas, incredibly long catalog return lines at the post office, and the cold towering aisles of warehouse shopping for put-it-together-yourself furniture, we introduce the Home Interiors Place.
Because of Y2K. I don't have time to give it right now, but I will right after the top of the hour news. Walter, Mount Rainier, you're on 710 KIRO. Hello, Walter. We got about a minute here.
Okay, Dory. Yeah, what you want to do is get as much soybeans and brown rice as you can.
Yeah.
Soybeans, I make my own soy milk. It'll give you all your own dairy, all your flour.
Yeah.
And it's all your protein, vitamin, minerals. And combined with brown rice, the Chinese been doing it for years. There's a book out called Back to Eden. It was written in the 30s. It's one of the greatest health food books ever written. And that'll tell you everything to have the healthiest family in the world. Soybeans and brown rice.
Yeah.
And if we went 12 volt, we could all be independently wealthy, have storage batteries and solar panels.
Sure.
And but we'd put all the oil companies and everybody else out of business.
Actually, my real plan, Walter, is to get about 40 head of black Angus steer in my backyard so I can cut them up for meat.
Well, by the time you get done feeding them, you'll have used up all your crops. I mean, a cow can live, a great big bull can be raised on nothing but grass.
Yeah.
And he's strong enough to knock your house down. You don't think people could do the same thing?
I don't know. All I know is I got to have steak on January 1st. It's kind of a New Year's Day tradition in my household. Walter, thank you. 156 News Radio 710 KIRO.
Hear ye, hear ye. I have an important announcement.
On pain of imprisonment.
Yes, 207. News Radio 710 KIRO. Welcome, my good, close, personal friends. Welcome back to the big show. the third and final hour of this Wednesday afternoon broadcast of the Dori Monson Show. Let me tell you a little bit about our broadcast schedule this week. Friday, we're preempted because we're kidding somebody who tried to write it down and missed it. The Bellagio trip that we're doing April 1st, if you want to get information, find out about it, you can call Northwest Travel Service at 1-800-456-6269. Okay? 800-456-6269, and they'll send you out some info. Let's see, what else? Somebody called and asked about the exposure of liability by computer companies if they don't fix the Y2K problem and they screw up our lives. Well, on the front page of this morning's PI, I did not read this story, but Sean brought it to my attention. He saw it. Senator Slade Gorton, along with other lawmakers, are arguing that fear of lawsuits is diverting resources from fixing the problem, and they want to make companies immune from liability lawsuits surrounding Y2K. And Slade Gorton said, and I quote, "Software companies and software users should concentrate all of their attention on solving the Y2K problem and not be distracted by litigation. The goal is to see that we solve the problem, not enrich lawyers." Guess who's opposed to that proposed legislation? Trial lawyers, along with consumer groups in the Clinton administration, who say that if they screw up our lives, there should be some legal recourse. And I agree. They shouldn't restrict our rights to go after them. If they want to fix the problem, they should just fix it, and then they don't have to worry about lawsuits. But this idea of Slade Gorton's to make them immune from liability lawsuits if they produce a product that screws up our lives, no, Slade. If they mess up our lives, we want to retain the right to go after them. So we'll keep an eye on that little movement. And I mean it in more ways than one. It is a movement. All right, we saw a story. I don't know what kind of a topic this is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a great topic or if there are going to be a lot of people scratching their heads, as I was doing yesterday when Sean floated this past me. But he saw this story from the Associated Press. I'll just read you the story. It says, "Maybe you're uneasy in the shower because of that famous scene from Psycho. Or maybe to this day you're skittish about going in the ocean because you saw Jaws. A new study says 1 in 4 people have a lingering fright effect from a movie or TV show they saw as a child or teenager. Kristen Harrison at the University of Michigan says Jaws scared some people out of the surf for good.